Blog Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to Energy Worlds Radio, and I am your host, Joanna Infeld. And today we have a very special guest in our studio, and that's Colin Spenley, whose book, The School of Master Lao, is coming out today. So we want to talk to him about that, and it's a very important book, in my estimation anyway, because it talks about the energy, which is something that we don't always hear about. And it took Colin 12 years to put it together. So I want to ask him first, why did it take so long?
Hi, Joanna. Thank you for having me. It started, 12 years ago. So today's a special day. Finally, to see it into the world is a very special feeling, and getting photos from people around the world showing the book in their hands. It's a very special moment for me. I think, there were phases when I could concentrate on it more and I was in the right zone, and I just wanted it to come together with the right feeling. And I just had in my mind at the beginning it will take the time it takes. I didn't expect it to take that long, I have to say. I thought take the time it takes might be a couple of years, but 12 years later. But the funny thing is, when I went to edit it or look at it in the years that passed, I always still felt it was important to do.
I think it is a very important book, and it's very beautifully done too, with those images from China. It takes place, by the way, in China. Can I ask you why? Why specifically is it in China?
I think China kept some very special, it's pretty obvious actually, they've kept a special appreciation of the energy side of the human. And the idea of it being on a mountaintop in China with a wise Chinese master is, I think it's a chance to mentally change your ecology. Ecology in Feng Shui, they say, determines like a third of your destiny. And we can be in a better place in our mind, can't we? Sometimes we think in a way, or we can, in our imagination, go somewhere. And so putting that setting at the top of a mountain, a quiet mountain in China, it at least creates a moment of being transported to a better place where it's ideal for listening to truths and perceptions and sentiments about life with this old Chinese master.
It's interesting that there seems to be more understanding about the energy worlds, and especially from China, like as you said, Feng Shui, a lot of people are into that, and into the idea of the aura, which you also mention in your book. There's a lot of very important lessons about energy worlds, which can be not only seen, but actually felt as well. And you've got students there from all over the world coming together to learn about these important facts. So, I think it's a very special understanding that you write about. It's interesting how it starts with people, the students, collecting examples of the duality of things, and then learning that there is a third vector to that. So, just wanted to ask you about that, why you start there.
Just a little bit more on the energy thing, first of all. I think seeing it in story form and a person discovering it, and the book's written in the first person, so in a way when you're reading it, it's like you're having the discovery yourself. It's different to just reading facts about it in a book of information, for example, but actually having a sense of moving through a story and developing these abilities, I thought was a great introduction to this realm. And as you mentioned, it's like the Chinese, and along with some other cultures, have really preserved an importance in sensitivity, and we see it in acupuncture and acupressure and Tai Chi and these arts that refer to the energy system of the human. I think it's a missing piece of the puzzle generally of our well-being, including mentally, emotionally, and relationships. It is a better understanding of the energy world. It's just like you well know, Joanna, with your Energy Worlds site and studies, which is an excellent platform for people to start approaching this work.
People, when they are told how to see and feel the energy worlds, for example, around a human, they get very good results. So it's really a question of knowing how, and first of all, learning that they exist, that they're there, and the importance and the reason why they're there. And I think your book does explain that really well. So I think it's a very important lesson about the aura and the energy around humans.
I think a lot of, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people feel something. You know, we talk about vibes, or somebody's got a good energy, a place has got a bad energy. It's like we're picking it up, but it hasn't quite been integrated into our day-by-day living and understanding. But about the question of the polarities you also asked, and that's one of the first exercises that the students, it's one of the first exercises the students get. This is another kind of something we think we know, we feel that we know, but somehow it hasn't been integrated fully yet. I think because we look at it too briefly. And what I mean is, most people have heard of Yin-Yang, they know there's two polarities, they've heard of the law of attraction, these types of things, but it really is at the center of how everything works, these two polarities. And I don't think we spend enough time penetrating to the core of that truth. So we recognize a yin-yang symbol. We could say, oh, that's a yin-yang symbol. But what that symbol actually means and why there's an opposite colored dot inside each of the spiraling colors, for example, it's still something we seem to be struggling with, because when we look at mental health issues, for example, you've got things like bipolar, and people have very great swings in their moods, and most well-being is actually evaluated by balance, of being in a kind of balance, even though nothing's static balance, moving forward balance, but there's a kind of balance to life between these two polarities, and unless it's really integrated, I think we all start to show imbalance in different ways. We can become too hardened, we can become too introverted, we can talk too much, or we can be too quiet. There's all these extremes without a sense of the right balance.
Yeah, and also you talk about qualities, which is very close to my heart, of things like courage and respect and patience. And these qualities do have also a certain energy that goes with it. And again, if people understood that, it would be much more easy to connect to these qualities and become them. So I think that's a really important lesson as well. I also want to ask you, because there was some time ago a famous movie, Seven Faces of Dr. Lao. And I just wanted to ask you whether there's a connection between Master Lao and Dr. Lao. Is that the same person, even though one is perhaps more historic, and in your book it's more about modern times? Is there a connection?
Yeah, I don't really want to say definitively. In the book it's hinted that it is the same man, and I think there are people that love that movie. I'm one of them, and I'm sure you're one of them too, The Seven Faces of Dr. Lao, with Tony Randall. But even though it's an adaptation of an earlier book, and there were quite a few changes, there's something in the essence of that movie that is quite touching. There's different moments that really hold, I think, quite powerful truths. And in the movie, they say that this Dr. Lao is 7,000 years old, as a kind of intriguing, mythical, mysterious aspect of his character. And some of the same descriptions come through about Master Lao as well, as if there was a time when he was traveling the world. And it's left a little bit not decided whether it really is him or not in the book. But there's definitely a kind of arcing idea connection there.
Well, not to spoil it for your readers, but there are some other mysteries as well in the book, and I think you balance the kind of realistic aspects with the unseen, mysterious very well. I certainly would recommend it to our listeners. And to find out a bit more about Colin, you can go to www.rubymountain.org, Do you want to say a little bit about Ruby Mountain before we finish?
Yeah, just a little bit about the mysteries, first of all. Yeah, the storyline of the book is a series of teachings that also offer exercises for the reader, but all based on this mountaintop with this Chinese master, and a person has a chance to experiment for themselves. So it doesn't have to be just something you read, it can be something you have an experience of. The Ruby Mountain, there's a course there if anybody enjoys the book and they want to give continuity to the studies of the ideas in the book. There's a course series there, so and ways of making contact, so they can give continuity through that site. The book itself is available today on Amazon. You really need to contact your local Amazon to order it because of the shipping costs. I initially had the US link, but a couple of people in Germany and Switzerland said it's too expensive to buy it from the US. So it's really best to go on the international Amazon or your local Amazon and type in the search the School of Master Lao.
Well, I certainly recommend it to our listeners. I think you'll really enjoy this book. And not only enjoy, but also, as you mentioned, the exercises are easy to do, and anyone can do them and have, hopefully, very good results. So I think becoming sensitive and understanding about the energy worlds is an important part of a kind of development life. And people who are interested in spirituality definitely would gain a lot from reading your book. So I do recommend it. Is there any final thoughts as we come, because we've got like 2 minutes to go?
Maybe just to say from a little quote from a lady who's reading it in Colombia. She wrote to me that she's loving the book. She said, "I feel like I'm transported to the mountain every time I go through a page. I feel like I've been there myself. I'm in a noisy place, but when I pick up the book, everything disappears and I'm on the mountain. I can't stop reading. It's such a beautiful, captivating book." So that's lovely feedback, of course, and I hope other people have a similar experience.
I'm sure they will. And again, go to Amazon. It's called The School of Master Lao. Is that right? Yes.
Yeah, L-A-O.
L-A-O, yes. So, Mystery School on the top of the mountain in China, and I'm sure anybody who will purchase the book will really enjoy it because there's a lot in there. And it's kind of book that you can just dip into, like there's a bit about one aspect of the energy worlds, and then there might be about, as you said, about the duality of all things, about qualities. So there's many parts to it, and one can, as I said, just dip into it and really enjoy it. So unfortunately, we're running out of time. So thank you, Colin, very much for being here with us today.
Thank you, Joanna, and thanks to anybody listening. And yeah, we'll see you in the impending future.
Okay, well, thanks again, and I look forward to what you write next.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.